At the beginning of the story, a girl arrives at a house for a babysitting job. She enters the house but finds it empty. While unseen, she calls her mom to inform her about staying overnight. During the conversation, she hears a strange sound and investigates, discovering it originates from the basement. To her shock, she finds a woman in the basement eating her own child. When the girl attempts to flee, the woman's husband closes the basement door, and tragically, the woman also kills the boy. A mysterious mark adorns the basement door, a detail that will likely unfold later in the story. The narrative shifts forward a few years to the present day, introducing a 17-year-old boy named Ben. He's visiting his father's place for the holidays, bringing along his younger brother. Ben's parents are going through a divorce, a situation that deeply troubles him. His father works at the port and takes Ben along the following day. Nearby, another family has arrived for their holiday stay, comprising a husband, wife, and 2 sons. Ben learns from his father that this family might be staying nearby temporarily. Meanwhile, at the port, Ben engages in an argument with some boys. Amidst this, a girl named Mallory, also working there, enters the scene. In a parallel storyline, a woman named Abby is in the nearby forest with her son, who gets separated from her. While lost, Abby's son encounters a strange tree with a large tunnel emitting voices that resemble his mother's. The tree bears a familiar mark seen previously on the basement door. Terrified, Abby's son captures an image of the mark. Near the tunnel, he witnesses something eerie, feeling as if someone is beckoning him. Abby eventually finds her son and, on their way home, collides with a deer. She decides to take the deer home for its meat, intending to teach her children about food sources. However, when she attempts to butcher the deer, she ends up getting herself and her son messy and abandons the attempt. That night, something peculiar emerges from the deer. Meanwhile, at Ben's house, he senses someone walking on the roof and discovers a hole outside Abby's residence, seemingly caused by an animal. Alerted, Abby's husband wakes up and reassures Ben before noticing something unusual behind him. The following morning, Ben encounters Abby's son near the hole and instructs him to move away. She had a sense that some animal might be hiding there. On the same day, Abby steps out of the house with her younger son in her lap and notices the flowers around the house withered. It felt as if someone from the basement was observing them. In the afternoon, when Ben visits the seashore, he finds Abby's son asleep in a boat. Waking him up, Ben questions why he's there. The boy explains he was waiting for his dad for a boat ride. To ease his fears, Ben asks the boy to alert him if anything seems amiss around the house. Meanwhile, Ben's dad is interested in introducing Ben to a girl he likes, but Ben resists as he blames himself for his parents' separation. Without informing his dad, he attends a party with Mallory, drinking and having fun. However, back at Abby's house that night, the monitor shows Abby's son apparently asleep in a swing, beside which an eerie entity with only eyes is seen. A toy falling wakes Abby, who rushes to her son's room to find only sticks in the swing. Suddenly, hands emerge and pull her toward them. Later, as Ben returns home at night, he encounters Abby with her son. Before he can intervene, his dad arrives, upset because he arranged dinner for Ben with the girl he likes. Ben expresses his reluctance, blaming the woman for his parents' situation. The woman overhears and angrily leaves. The next morning, Abby exhibits odd behavior, but her family seems oblivious. Her husband leaves for work, and when her elder son finds her in a disturbing state, he gets scared. At night, when Ben returns home, he finds Abby's son hiding and afraid. He warns Ben not to go to their house or let her in, referring to his mother, Abby. Meanwhile, Abby comes looking for her son, and Ben lies about his whereabouts, fearing she might harm him. Abby forcefully heads to her sister's house, suspecting her son's presence there. Her husband follows suit. When Abby's son hears his father's voice, he reveals himself and asks his dad to return home. Ben grows suspicious, observing their family closely but finding nothing odd as Abby was in her room with her husband. However, he notices strange marks on her body and peculiar sounds from her bones as if someone else controlled her or she wasn't herself. The next day, Abby's son is found on the seashore. Ben waits for him to learn more but decides to visit Abby's house to inquire further. The most shocking revelation was that her father didn't even know about his son. When questioned, he appeared oblivious to having children, as if he'd forgotten everything. This deeply unsettled Ben. On his way home, he noticed the same peculiar mark that Abby's son had seen in the forest, which they had drawn earlier in the story. Curious, he took note of it and searched the internet. His research revealed a tale of a mysterious witch residing in the forest's tree roots. This witch had the ability to wear human skin and infiltrate a person's body, controlling their mind. Moreover, she preyed on children whose parents would forget them, controlling their minds and consuming their blood. Ben realized that the woman he knew as Abby was actually dead. A witch named Devon had taken her form, wearing her skin and consuming both of Abby's children. However, Ben grappled with the decision to involve the police. Who would believe his fantastical story? He confided in his friend Mallory, sharing the bizarre behavior of their neighbors, noting the disappearance of both their children. Suspicious, Ben caught Abby, or rather, the witch, hiding something in the basement. In a bold move, Mallory left a note playfully insinuating they knew the basement's secret and drew the distinctive mark associated with the witch. Upon discovering the note, Abby intercepted Ben before he could investigate, whispering something that caused his husband to act strangely. It was as if Abby was part alive, part dead, her skin peeling off to reveal the witch, Devon. Ben's sole focus was to monitor these individuals, convinced that something sinister was afoot. One day, Ben witnessed Abby emerging from their house's basement. Seizing the opportunity after she left, he broke the lock and ventured inside. The site was eerie, a collection of wood, a peculiar construction, and animal skulls hinted at dark rituals. Among the items were pictures, including those of Mallory's and Ben's families marked with crosses. Realizing his family might be the witch's next targets, Ben rushed to warn Mallory. But he arrived too late. The witch had already taken Mallory into her tunnel. Frantically trying to rescue her, Ben grasped the witch's hand, calling for help. In the struggle, he lost his footing, hitting his head and losing consciousness. Upon waking, he discovered the police waiting at his home. Abby had filed a report accusing him of spying on their house, but his dad intervened. Despite Ben's earnest plea about the danger posed by their neighbors, his father disregarded his concerns, sparking an argument. That night, Ben was joined by the woman, Kay, who was going to stay with them. Although his dad favored her, Ben soon realized the demon which had possessed her when the flowers near her wilted. The witch attacked Ben, who defended himself with a knife. Just as Ben's dad arrived, he misconstrued the situation, berating Ben and calling the police. Despite Ben's frantic attempts to explain the truth about the witch, neither his father nor the police listened. During their journey to the supposed police station, the officer diverted to the seashore, indicating he was under the witch's influence and he attempted to harm Ben's sister. Fortunately, a dog, whom Ben had often fed, intervened but was tragically killed by the possessed officer. Just as danger loomed over Ben, the officer turned the gun on himself. Meanwhile, Ben's dad, anxious for his daughter's safety, encountered resistance from the possessed woman who tried to restrain him. However, he managed to reach Abby's basement, discovering Abby's husband had taken his own life, with the demon witch having already inhabited Abby's deceased body. Witnessing this, Ben's father was horrified. As the demon witch moved to strangle them, Ben intervened, shooting her and escaping with his father. The witch revealed her true form but fled into the forest, setting fire to the basement, destroying the cursed pictures. In the chaos, Ben remembered his younger brother and he rushed to the demon witch's former dwelling. Accompanied by Mallory, he entered the tunnel, instructing her to set the place ablaze if he didn't return within 10 minutes. Inside, he found his brother and Mallory's sister, but as he rescued them, the demon witch attacked. Despite the struggle, Ben succeeded in saving them and, together with Mallory, set fire to the area. After ensuring the safety of Mallory and the rescued children, Ben prepared to return home. On their way back, Ben encounters Mallory for the last time, who hands him a flower. However, upon closer inspection, Ben realizes the flower is artificial, a sign that the demon witch had now possessed Mallory, as real flowers would wilt in her presence. Later, Mallory takes some children out on a boat excursion. The story concludes with a chilling scene. Mallory wears a sinister smile. The uncertainty lingers. No one knows if the witch will manifest within Mallory and endanger the children. With this eerie and suspenseful ending, the tale reaches its conclusion. As they depart, Ben gazes back at the location. He prepares to return home, the mysteries of the witch's influence lingering in the air.